This is Devious Dave Rose, professional pariah and all around asshole. And you are tuned in to the greatest, defending, undisputed video game collector on the planet. Casey is Raw.
What up, guys? It's Casey's Raw again, and today we're going to be talking about video game console history. Today, my guest is Tex. Are you still demonetized this champion?
Yes, I am. I currently do have that title, my friend. So,
From one former champion to the current champion.
there you go. We gotta, we have to, promote these brands and, all these things we talk about somehow, right? So,
Yeah, bro.
yeah, I'm happy to be here and I'm happy to be asked to be on your show, man. I appreciate it.
Oh, dude. Like, anytime you show up on Derailed, it perks me up because I think you bring a lot to the show. I
I appreciate it. I enjoy doing it.
It pissed me off what that one douchebag. I got rid of that idiot, but it's no
It
big deal.
happens. I've said it a million times. I'm a heat magnet. Anytime I go anywhere, somebody's going to have something to say. So it is what it is. You just deal with it and move on. It's the internet after all. What are you going to do? So,
God forbid you just want to go and hang out with whoever you want. I mean,
right.
But that,
there's about how it goes. There's going to be trolls and idiots everywhere. There ain't no real way around it.
Oh,
so.
definitely.
It's all good.
So, what did you start with your consoles? I'm just curious.
The first one I ever played would have been a Super Nintendo.
Oh, really?
That was it was at my grandmother's house. She had gotten it at a yard sale or something. And she bought it, she put it in her back room. And she had Super Mario 2 and about 3 or 4 other games for the Super Nintendo. So that was kind of like the first one that I really got to play around with or whatever. And I loved Super Mario Brothers too, because that would always be my go-to at her house playing or whatever. And I'm trying to think of the other titles she had. I can't remember, but there were a few other games. Well, I went from the Super NES to I got at my house a Sega Genesis. It was a Christmas present. That one was a lot of fun. I really enjoyed that one. We had what games did we have? We had Sonic. We had a few different Sonic games. We had Sonic 2.
Mm-hmm.
Which one was the Sonic that had Knuckles on it with the flip top on top?
That was Sonic and Knuckles, and that's the
I had that one too.
That's the cart that you could take and you can put Sonic 2 or 3 on, and that would put Knuckles in the game, pretty much. But
I had that. So what else did I have for Sega Genesis? I had obviously wrestling games and stuff.
Oh yeah.
Mainly WCW games. I had a lot of WCW games. Because that was the wrestling that I watched whenever I was growing up. Mainly.
Oh, you were a WCW guy?
Oh, all the way, dude. I love WCW. Obviously, I'm a WWF fan as well, but I prefer WCW.
I can't talk to you. This show's over. I'm sorry. I was a
WWF. I was always I was the NWO guy over DX. You know what I mean? So I was on the other side of the fence. But it's all good. So
it's understandable. NWO is pretty cool. I mean, if you didn't have one, you wouldn't pretty much you wouldn't have DX. So.
Oh yeah, no, it was two different sides of a coin, but
Mm-hmm.
yeah, I had a couple WCW games. See, what did I have? I had after the Sega Genesis, I've got a Nintendo 64, and I loved the Nintendo 64. I thought that controller was the coolest thing I'd ever seen.
I hated it.
Really? See, I liked it. I thought it was cool.
The reason is like it's very hard to handle, and
yeah, it's true. Yeah.
I mean, growing up, you kind of figure it out now, but when I was in '96, like I couldn't understand it. I hated that control.
Yeah, it took a minute. One of my favorite games. Did you ever play the? Well, one of my favorite was the NASCAR game that they had for it, but the Star Wars Episode 1 pod racing game for Nintendo 64.
I think I dabbled in that. I know I got it. I'm pretty sure I got it for the N64, or some other version. But I'm pretty sure I played it. I heard it's pretty good though.
That was so. I think that was the first game I ever fully beat. Like got all the way through. I unlocked everything because I loved racing. You know, I love the Star Wars prequels. I'm probably one of the few in the world that prefer the Star Wars prequels over anything else.
Really?
But it was so cool to get that side of the racing game. You know, it was just a lot of fun. It hit me at that right time in life when you know, it was just I was playing a good bit of video games, and it was really cool. So yeah, I had the N64 for a couple years, and then I want to say which one did I have? Somebody gave us a PlayStation 2. I think somebody had moved and didn't want it anymore or something. And then when I got the PS2, that's when I found my favorite games of all time. I played Resident Evil for the first time. That was like a next level thing for me, getting to play Resident Evil. I'd never done anything like that. I'd played Mortal Kombat. That was always good. But when I got to Resident Evil, that changed the ball game for me.
I know you're a huge horror guy, so I mean.
It was great, dude. Yeah.
You know what? I kind of agree with. I mean, about the Star Wars. I mean, I think the prequels get a little bit of hate. The only reason the only thing I really didn't like, but I guess you had to do it, is all the lovey-dovey stuff, and you know.
Oh yeah.
But it makes sense. You gotta get Luke Skywalker from somehow. So
yes, somebody had to do somebody to get Luke Skywalker right. So they had to do something. You know what I mean?
And I think those movies are actually aging better than.
Yeah, I think so.
And in the later trilogies, I think people shit on that a little too much. I don't think it's the greatest, but I'm like, kind of like I like the originals, but it's like it's hard to, like, oh, this is the best and this is absolutely the worst. It's kind of like how like in the Rocky movies, I can pretty much put it from one end to the other how I feel. Like for Rocky, 4 is my favorite. Then I would say 3.
Yeah.
Then I say 3, 2, 1, and 5. I pretend it doesn't exist.
Isn't that the one where he fights the blonde-headed guy in the street or something like that, or is that a different one?
No.
Okay, that's the. I think that's the one that everybody has universally decided we're just all gonna hate this movie. You know, all together. You know what I mean? So yeah, it's for good reason. So yeah,
it's just
it's not good. It's.
I mean, we might have to make this different than. I mean, I like to talk about video games, but sometimes I got a bad habit, kind of like getting stared off the topic. But
Oh, hey, you take it wherever you want to, brother. I'm here for it. It's all good with me.
but you know, it's funny in Rocky 4, he's in there. He defeats Drago, and he's probably
Yeah.
up there for a couple months, getting practicing or training, and then after
Oh yeah.
Christmas, the match happens, and like he leaves for Russia for a couple months, and his kid's still like young as hell. He gets back, his kid's is a teenager and 5.
Yeah. Definitely the timing on how they film those is definitely questionable. Like so
Oh,
many things, like it's just one of those things. It's so weird. Now,
you,
are there any Rocky video games? I've never
oh
seen
yeah.
one. If there are,
Actually, there's not a lot. I know they had it for like the GameCube, the
uh huh.
PS2, the PS2, and the Xbox, the original Xbox.
Oh, okay.
But there was one. There was a system before the Sega Genesis. It's called the Sega Master System. They have a Rocky
Master
game.
System. I've never heard of that.
A lot of people never heard of it. It's the Sega's version of the NES. Is their 8-bit
Oh,
machine.
okay.
No one
Oh, cool.
really knows about the Master System. But let me see if I can reach over and grab this.
Sure.
See if I can reach this over to the collection, because if I can find where Rocky is, and I can show you how awful this found it. How awful the cover are on these Master System games.
Oh, wow. Okay. I see what you're talking about. Yeah.
It's like
Yeah, that's
graphic
crazy.
paper. It looks like
Now,
craft paper.
is it just basically you just pick who your fighter is and then they put them in the ring like a wrestling game or what?
This one, no. I know you play Apollo Creed, and then you jump.
Okay.
You automatically jump from Apollo Creed to uh the guy Mr. T plays. I'm trying to remember his name. Uh, he's the very next,
Oh, yeah, yeah.
but Mr. T is pretty much impossible to beat. You can beat Apollo pretty easily, but um.
Oh, okay.
This is what, see if you can see it. That's what a Master System game looks like.
Wow.
Yeah.
Holy cow, that's crazy.
So,
Now, did you ever play any of the like Nightmare on Elm Street or Friday the 13th games on NES?
no, I mean I have them, but no.
Because like I've got the action figures. A couple years ago, they made action figures of Jason and Freddy in the
From the
colors that they were from that game. Like
yeah,
Jason is like purple with like a blue mask, and Freddy's
mm,
like an orange color.
yeah,
It's I've got them in my storage. I need to get them out, but they're really cool because it's like obviously the what's old becomes new again, right? With
oh yeah,
all this stuff coming back, and it was. I always wanted to play those games, but when I've seen footage of it, it looks like it's just kind of repetitious, run around, and you don't
yes.
really do
I think
much.
uh Freddy the Freddy Krueger game is actually
Mhm.
more fun. I know
Oh, okay.
was it Jason the Friday the 13th, right?
Yes. Yes.
Okay. I'm just making sure. Like I said, I'm not a big horror fan. The only, I
Oh,
mean,
yeah.
I seen the Scream movies. I kind of don't classify that as horror. I'm pretty sure you probably
Oh,
agree.
it's horror. It's just it's a different era in horror. It's not the same thing as Jason and Freddy and
Mm,
Michael. It's a some people call it elevated horror. I believe is the term. It's like it's on the
really?
next level or whatever. Yeah, because it's more meta. Because in the Scream movies, all of those other movies exist, right? So it's kind of more, it's like I said, it's on the next level, but it's one of the best slasher franchises.
Oh
I don't think
yeah.
they've ever made a Scream game. I don't think they've ever made one.
Oh, you know what? I think you're right. You know what? During that time frame,
Well,
you figured they should have. I mean,
let's see.
that
Scream
was the,
original came out in '99, or was it
somewhere
'96?
around there. It
It
was.
was one of the two. Either way, you would have thought, because I mean they merchandised the crap out of Scream. Now
Oh
the only
yeah.
video I know, if in the newer game, it's what's it called, Dead by Daylight.
Oh,
Have
I
you
don't.
ever played that?
No.
Anyway, it's basically it's a horror game where they've kind of adopted other movie franchises into it, so you could play as Michael Myers or Leatherface or Freddy Krueger or whoever. Right? They did one for Scream at that, but it's interesting, like, to see how. I've never been huge into video games. I've always just kind of tampered with them. You know what I mean? I would have one. Like, I've got a PlayStation 4 now that I haven't turned on in a year and a half.
Oh
It's just
wow.
set there. You know what I mean? So I'm not even sure it works anymore, to be totally honest with you. But like, it kind of comes in spells. The last time I committed myself to a game was Resident Evil 7 and Resident Evil 8, because I don't know if you ever played those games or not. But it was firsthand. It was like,
Mm-hmm.
it wasn't third person behind you,
Yeah.
right? It was your eyes. Like, you would raise your hands and you would see them on the screen, right? It was a Resident Evil 7.
Yes.
It was a abandoned house, or
Yeah.
not abandoned, but like it was like a mansion in ruins, right? It was just huge. You were all by yourself. It was honestly kind of scary the first time you played through it. But it was probably my favorite game I've ever finished of all time would be Resident Evil 7. It was a great game to play.
See, thing is about that game, I believe they
Uh,
made that game with the VR in mind. It looks too much like
oh
even
yeah, yeah.
when you're not playing in VR, it looks like it's totally
Mm-hmm.
made for VR because like you said, it's in first
Oh yeah.
person view. Because I
Right.
mean, I got the PS VR. I got it extremely cheap. I think I paid 150
Oh
for it.
really?
Yeah, for the whole
Oh
getup.
wow. That's
But
good.
I always try to get all the PS VR games. But I
Okay.
tried that. That was pretty fun. I mean, I didn't get too
Yeah.
far into it, but
Oh, it's a huge game. It took me forever to beat it. I'm horrible at video games. I'm not somebody. If it takes you 8 hours to beat a game, it's going to take me about 18 to beat it. If I'm really trying, you know what I mean. I've just
oh,
never been good at them. But
I think I'm in the
just one of
same.
those things.
I think I'm in the same boat. I mean, like right now, I'm playing a bunch of retro games, and
Uh huh.
if they had more of a save states back then, yeah, you got like
Right.
Zelda games did, but I don't have the patience to like sit down and play a game for a couple
Uh,
hours. Minus what's with the Switch nowadays, you can be sitting on the couch playing it portable. And
right.
dude, I already clocked over 1,000 hours on Fortnite itself,
Wow.
and
I've
that's on.
never played Fortnite. I've seen advertisements. I've seen
Mhm.
footage. I've never played the game before.
It, it's fun. It's pretty much like PUBG, but it's more cartoonish. Like I
Okay.
I I'm used to it. Like I'm afraid if I try PUBG that I'm gonna be such a noob or a rookie in it that I'll just get destroyed. That kind of stops
Right.
me from trying it because I'm so used to Fortnite's uh strategy than that. But that was only
Now
on.
with Fortnite, I'm a big fan of DC Comics and stuff, and I remember seeing advertisements that they were doing DC Comics in Fortnite. Do you remember this?
Yeah. Actually, not only they did DC, they did Marvel. They do a
Now, are
bunch.
they bringing in like Batman and Joker into the game, or what is it?
Yeah, like your character, you can buy skins. Like I got a couple skins of Bat.
Oh, okay.
I actually got a couple skins of Batman, and like they
Oh,
have
cool.
skins of types of anything. I mean, it's weird because Batman with a gun, or like it's like, or it's
That's
like,
great.
or like Spider-Man with a gun or Venom. I'm like,
Hmm.
I mean, it's cool, but I'm like, it makes you think. It's like, hold on, this is not right. I'm like,
So
they leave.
basically, it's just a gimmick to get you to buy more stuff within the
Yes,
game. Is what it is.
pretty much. I mean,
Okay, okay, that
the
makes sense.
game, the game is free, but not only they got a
Oh,
shot.
okay.
Yeah, and it's on pretty much all the platforms like the PS4, 5, the Xbox, and on the Switch, and
Oh, wow.
even on the mobile and PC. So, and it's
Oh, wow.
and you're all interlinked too. So,
Really?
yeah, you
So you
don't
can
have.
play anybody from across the world or whatever.
Yeah, not only that, it doesn't matter what system they're playing on. So that's what's
Oh,
cool.
okay. Cool.
Yeah,
Yeah.
like you could be playing against someone on a phone. I really hate playing against someone who's on a PC because you know they have way too much advantage on there than people on a.
Oh, I'll be dope.
Yeah, well, I mean, because you can use the mouse and aim a lot easier, and they have the freaking keys on the keyboard, and they can like
Right.
quickly build and switch their guns in a split second. It's
Oh,
unfair,
wow.
but
Yeah, I tried Call of Duty online years ago, and I'd get killed in 10 seconds. It didn't matter what I did. I was never good at it. It was I don't know. For me, like I played the have did you ever play the Injustice video games where it had all the
yes,
characters from DC Comics? Like
yes,
I love those as well. 'Cause I like
oh
it's
yeah,
it's obviously made by the same people who made Mortal Kombat and whatever. Right?
yeah,
So it's basically the same game but with
mm,
Batman and Joker. And I've played both of the first two of those. I've heard they're making a third one. I hope they do because I think that'd be
yeah.
really cool.
Oh, I
But
agree.
those, those are pretty good games too.
Mm-hmm.
I like games that I can kind of pick up, play a little bit at my own pace, and then go on and do something else. The
Yes.
ones where you have to sit down for 12 hours at a time to do, that's just too much for me. I'm like, I get bored, my ADD kicks in, and I want to go outside and look at something, ooh, a tree, whatever.
Yeah.
But
I'm I'm
I
in
don't know, I'm weird like that.
No, I am on the same boat with you because, like I said, if like because some of the more modern games I can beat because, like I said,
Right.
there's save states and they're a little bit easier. And like at the NES, those games are. There's a reason why they call it NES hard because those games are damn near impossible to beat. Unless that's the
Oh, I
only
couldn't
game
imagine.
like if someone like just practice on that one game, it's these games.
Right.
Yeah, those NES games are just damn near impossible. But
Yeah. I don't know. I like, as much as I loved, uh, like I said, Super Mario 2.
yeah,
I never got to the end of it just because it just kept going and going. There's
mhm.
so many worlds. And for
Oh
all the
yeah,
years that I played it, I never got to the end of it. I don't think I ever finished it, to be honest with you. It was a lot of fun, but it was just so expansive. And to think
hmm
that was that many years ago. I mean, I'm a 34-year-old man, and that was, in the early '90s. Whenever I played this game, it was, for me, that's one of the most nostalgia games that comes to mind when I think of like retro video games. Just because I can imagine myself as some punk kid at my grandma's house playing a video game. So it's just, you've got the old square TV, the whole thing. It was just so, it was just, I like that about that. It was always fun.
Dude,
I like the gaming world. I mean, there's two games that, well, one of them's already out, that kind of make me want to get back into it and get a PS5 or whatever, and that's the game for the Evil Dead, for the Evil Dead movies with Ash, and then there's a Texas Chainsaw Massacre game coming out.
That doesn't shock me.
That looks just like the original movie. It's like, oh my god, I have to play this game. So I don't know. I could be convinced to get back into it just from titles like that. You know what I mean? But it's fun. I like it.
You know what shocks me? I mean, how many Saw movies are there, by the way? I'm just curious. I know they had like a million.
There's currently 9 Saw movies. There's a script for 10, but I don't think they've done anything with it yet. So yeah.
I remember every year they would pop another one out. It was like clockwork.
Oh yeah.
But I'm shocked that never had a Saw. You know what? They probably actually. I think now
they do have a Saw game.
Yeah,
they do. It came out on PlayStation 2. I do remember seeing it. Yeah. I'm trying to remember. It ties in with the movies. I think you play as. There's a couple characters from the films that you play as, and then I think there's an original character from the game that's the main character or something. I can't remember. But there is a Saw game. I don't know how well it did, but they did make one out of it. So, I mean, there's a lot of horror games out there. Like, I'm surprised there's never been a game for Halloween for Michael Myers. I mean, as many movies as they've made, there's never been one.
Actually,
Not that I know of.
I think there is. Like, I think there's one for the PS4, but I could be wrong.
I have no idea.
But like, I'm not in big time in horror. Like, there's this game that I don't know if you ever heard of. It's called Five Nights at Freddy's.
Five Nights at Freddy's. My kids played that for a little bit. Yeah, I've heard of it, but I don't know much about it.
Well, it's pretty much it's like if you're running security at Chuck E. Cheese, and those.
Oh wow! Okay.
Yeah, but those animatronics come to life and they come and kill you.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah.
So it's basically Chucky, is what it is. That's awesome. I like that.
And they have it came out on console, and I had it for the PS4, and I tried it on VR, and you have to be watching the camera. You only have so much power to run the security room. You don't even leave the room, but you close these doors on both sides, and it's just jump scares. And I know one time I was about to die. I was like, I was streaming this, and I was like, you know what, guys, I can't do it. I got leave, and I just quit because I was scared out of my fucking mind. And I know it's
I take it you're not one that likes haunted houses and stuff. You're probably not going to many of those on Halloween.
You know what? I wouldn't mind doing that. It's just I hadn't done it in forever. It's not like, hey, Casey, you want to go to a haunted house? Like, I hadn't been to one since I was a kid, but I mean, or a teenager, but I wouldn't say no. But I remember one time going to haunted house, and I guess there was one person tried to scare me. I was like, "What? What are you gonna do about it?"
That's hilarious.
I
Yeah,
was like,
I don't. It's definitely an acquired taste. You know what I mean? It's like when you're when you're. I I I don't get scared like normal people. Like even at an early age, I was watching stuff that. Yeah, I mean, I was like 5 or 6 years old whenever I saw The Exorcist. You know, one of the scariest
"Oh
movies of all
wow,
time. A lot of people say. So I don't know. It somehow hit me differently. So like whenever I'm watching a horror film, it kind of takes me back to childhood. It's not that oh I love the dark, scary, evil stuff. It's like a comfort food. You know what I mean? It's like
really?"
like with you. I'm sure like when you put in one of your video games, right? It kind of takes you to a happier time and place, right? So for me, if I'm watching Halloween 4, it takes me back to a simpler place in life. You know what I mean? It takes me back
Yeah,
to a I don't know, like I
I think.
love the art of how the scary film is made, and there's so many things that I appreciate about it. You know
Mm,
what I mean? It's a very like I'm making it sound more complicated than it actually is. I just love gore and I love scary shit. I don't know what it is. You know what I mean? It works with me, so it's all good. So
well, I'm happy that you and Drew are doing your thing on there, but
oh yeah, oh it's been great, dude.
it's always fun to do shows like that. So I was like,
Oh yeah,
I can
oh
understand what you're talking about though, because like if it's like a franchise that was dead for like 20 plus years, kind of like
yeah, right,
almost like the Rocky movies, like when they came out with Rocky Balboa and then the Creed movies. I mean, I I might have watched Rocky 5 when I was young, but
right.
never watched those other ones in theater before that.
Okay, yeah.
I mean, I would love to watch 4, but 3 and 4 is around my time. 2 and 1 was in, I believe, were in the 70s. But yeah, I
Yeah,
mean,
70s and 80s, something like that.
yeah. So, I mean, like the Rocky movies, or kind of like how they brought back Bill and Ted 3,
Hmm.
and I really
Yeah,
enjoyed that movie.
that
So,
one was fun. Yeah, like I that was just one of those movies when you just sit back and enjoy your popcorn and relax.
yeah,
You don't have to think too hard with it. It's a stupid movie, and it's intended to be. It's just a lot of fun. I've always enjoyed that about that. But yeah, I mean, it's like with Drew over on the Derailed YouTube channel.
we don't talk
We
about that channel.
Drew.
We don't talk about that
Oh, we don't
channel.
talk about that.
I'm gonna have to edit that out. No, just
Well, the fill in the blank channel. Uh, whenever Drew and I started, we were just talking one day, and he was looking for more content. And I said, well, I don't know if you've ever thought about it or whatever, but I've pretty much got an encyclopedia of horror knowledge in my brain that somebody might as well get something out of because I'm never going to make any money out of it. So let's talk about scary movies. Why not?
yeah,
That's kind of how it came to fruition. But it's been a lot of fun and it's just getting started. There's way more to come. I mean, we're only halfway through the Saw movies and we're planning for the future. So y'all stay tuned.
yeah. So trying to pull back. You said I guess your latest system was the PS4. Have you ever got
Yes,
into
sir.
the? Have you ever gone to the Atari games, or you ever played Atari?
Oh, my mother had one whenever I was young, but I don't remember it ever working. I don't think I ever actually played it. I remember it being in the house,
Mm-hmm.
but it was like it was sitting on a shelf, and we just for some reason didn't even get rid of it until I was like 10 years old. So I don't really know. I don't remember ever playing. Like I've seen footage of people playing Pong or other games, this, that, or whatever, right? But I can't honestly say that I've ever played it. Like I'd love to. I think it'd be an interesting thing to try out. You know what I mean?
Well, I mean, you said you're 34. I'm 40,
Yeah.
so
Right.
I grew up where right at the end of the Atari 2600. I mean, this is right before the NES got started. So I was
Right.
on the tail end of the Atari 2600, and I remember my parents having this bar. Like it's pretty much, this bar top is pretty much as long as this room was, and it was at the old
Oh
house
wow.
that I grew up for 5 years, and we had a TV on top the bar, and that's first time I remember playing Atari. And
Right.
but when we moved from Atari to the NES, it was just night and day. It was, to me, it blew my
Oh, I'm sure.
mind. It just absolutely blew my mind. So like,
Oh yeah.
and it's amazing. Like nowadays, you don't even really see the jump nowadays. Like especially after
Yeah.
the
No, go
previous
ahead. Go ahead.
the previous gen and now this gen, where you had the PS4, you don't see much between the 4 and the 5. Like
Right.
I got PS4 Pro. I'm like, and right now they don't really have too much uh games that exclusive to PS5. So I'm like, I'm only a half step behind. Fuck it. I'll wait until the stores get them, and like it's a damn near impossible to get this console without paying an arm and leg on top of the retail price, because people
Right.
scalping them. But
Yeah, I remember whenever I went to go buy my PS4, I did a little shopping around to see what prices were, and then I just ended up going to GameStop because it was just easier. I was in town one day, and the guy said, "Well, I can sell you a used PS4 for this price, or I can sell you a PS Pro or whatever you were saying for like $200 more, whatever it was."
oh
And I was
fuck.
like, "Well, I don't want something like I have the money to spend. I want something good, right? But
Yeah.
I'm not going to pay for a Pro." So I said, "Can you just sell me a regular PS4 brand new in the box?" He goes, "Well, I could, but you'd really be helping me out because apparently they have like a quota to sell used stuff or whatever.
Oh,
I don't really
that
know
must
how
be
it all works."
GameStop. That must be
Yeah,
Game.
it was a GameStop. Yeah, it was GameStop. And I'm like, well, I mean, I understand that, and I'm sorry about that, but I didn't come in here to buy something used. I can go to the pawn shop way cheaper for something used if I want that. So it came with it was one of those collection packs where it comes with a game and some other stuff
Yeah.
thrown in or whatever. I don't even remember which game it was. I think I sold it almost immediately. But like that was my first. Like I didn't realize that you had to load stuff into these new systems. Like we'll let it download into it.
Oh
That was
yeah.
so crazy to me because the prior to that, the newest system I had was that PlayStation 2.
Oh
And it was just you put the disc in and you play. So that's
yeah.
what I didn't know I needed freaking internet to play this stupid thing. That's how behind I was. I was like, why do I need internet to play this thing? It's crazy.
Well,
It drove me crazy.
here's the kicker. I mean, the bridge is pretty much the PS3, because yeah, I think you could buy digital games on the PS2, but it was very
I don't remember.
uncommon. But PS3 and the
Right.
Xbox 360, that's where, like I say, that's the bridge, because that's when
Okay.
you're still playing on the CD, but that's where they started downloading patches and having more digital copies of games. And then when
Oh,
we
yeah.
when we moved on to the PS4 and the Xbox One, um, you're not even playing off the disc no more. All the disc
Wow.
is, yeah, that disc is not like is only good is a lock and key to that game, because once you put that disc,
Oh,
that's why when you put that disc in and it downloads, it's downloading that game into your hard drive, and
yeah,
you're playing off the hard drive. And
right.
that's what the current gens systems are doing now. You they're not even playing off off the disc no more. Like the only
So that's
reason
great.
the only reason they do that nowadays is, people either not have internet capabilities, and they'll just
Right.
have it just unloads everything, and then it's just going to be the GIMP version of that game, because if you
Oh,
don't
wow.
if you don't get the patches from the internet, it's going to be the worst version of that game. So,
That's insane. Yeah, hell, I was on Twitter today, and apparently the new WWE 2K game that just released a new patch or something for the newest game. I
yeah.
was seeing advertisements. People were talking about it online for whatever it was. People were they just released a new patch, and people are already asking for another one with Cody and all this other garbage on the thing. It's
Oh,
like, good lord,
there's no
it's
way
like
they'll.
you people never stop.
But
It's
here's the
crazy.
thing: is he came in way too late. There's no way they're gonna have him scanned and put in that game. It'll be until
Right.
next year they'll put Cody in there. I mean, if
Oh
they.
yeah, he's their new toy. They'll put
Mhm.
him on everything. He'll probably be the cover of the next one if I had to guess.
Oh,
Yeah.
you know what? I bet, especially after the rumors hearing about Roman going to part time, and they really
Oh
need
yeah.
people to move up. And right now, like you said,
Right.
he's the newest hottest toy for WWE. So you know what? I think that's a I I couldn't agree more, because I mean shit. Like the day after WrestleMania, I believe, wasn't he the first guy that came out, because he got the biggest pop
Yeah.
at.
I was at the Raw after Mania. Like I actually went
Really?
to the event. Yeah, we ended up going, and he had a huge pop. Him and Rex Steiner or Braun Breaker, whichever name
Yeah.
you want to call him. He's a freaking Steiner. Come on, he's a Steiner. Come on, guys. Which I love Braun Breaker. I think he's the future of the business. But those two seem to get the biggest pop by the
Really?
live crowd. And I mean, there were Cody shirts everywhere. Now I'm not a Cody guy. I'm not. I'm just whatever. I'm not a really big fan. But it's it's funny to see how, like, with WWE 2K releasing this patch,
Yeah.
like immediately the whole Twitter post was, "Oh, I want X, Y, and Z, and add this and add that, and add this and add that." And it's like, so let's slow down a minute, people. I mean, this thing, I'm sure it takes forever for them to design all this stuff and do whatever. But I have no idea with this new stuff. It's so hard to keep up. It's crazy.
Well, a lot of times when they do one every year. Pretty much,
Right.
it's like what they do for football for Madden. It's a copy and paste every year. All they do is a
Yeah. Oh yeah.
roster change. I mean,
Right.
get this. One of the guys I watch on YouTube, he found, I guess, the game for Madden 2020. They found elements
Uh-huh.
from the game prior. It said 2019. I'm like, there's your proof
Oh, that's crazy.
that's copy and paste. I mean, granted, I mean, you have a year to pump this out. So to
Right.
build something up from the ground up. I mean, I don't blame them. And
Oh yeah,
I made this suggestion. I was asking a few people, like, here's an idea. I mean, I was thinking if it might sound crazy, but you'll have one game that's good for 10 years. You pay $100 for straight up. And
right.
I think every year you just pay $30 for the roster lineup. Like the change.
Yeah, I don't see why not. I mean, it seems like it would save money than having to create. I mean, it's as you just said. There's evidence of proof of previous games, right? So
Yeah.
let's just charge me more up front and then
Yeah.
$20 to $30 yearly to get the new stuff if I could just download the stuff anyways.
Yeah.
And just go from there. Because I mean, I've watched a few people's like in the new 2K wrestling game for WWE.
Mm-hmm.
The community creations of the stuff that people can do these days
Oh.
is insane, dude.
Oh,
you
yeah.
can make anybody you want.
Yes.
Like half the community creations look better than the stuff that the actual game developers make. It's like, holy cow. It's like you people are actually into this, you know what I mean? It's crazy.
Can't believe how some of the stuff they do add in there. I'm like, like you said, it's amazing. Like how did they put AEW logos and the belts? Like a lot of times,
Right.
like you say, when the last time I had WWE 2K, whatever, I would automatically go into creative and start downloading a bunch of people from other promotion.
Right.
Mainly like back then when TNA and maybe the latest one was AEW, but I don't dude, I think it's been like a few years since the last one. No, not true. I was gonna say the last WWE game I picked up was 2K20. So
I think the last one I bought was 19. I think that was the last one that I bought. It's been a few years. I played it for a while, but I just put it on the shelf one day and then I didn't touch it for like 6 months. And I was like, screw it. I'm just going to take this to a pawn shop or a GameStop, whatever I did. And I think I sold the thing. I don't even remember. Like I said, like I said, it's been forever since I even touched the system that I do have. It's just, I get more out of watching the gameplay footage on YouTube or something than I do playing myself. Because I get to,
that.
like some of these games have such a rich history and the video in it. It's like a movie in and of itself. You know what I mean? It's crazy. It's crazy what they can do.
I gotta get someone clip you saying I play with myself.
Well, I guess I'm going to have to be guilty of that one. But hey, somebody's going to do it, right? What are you going to do? It's all good. So.
I mean, if someone says they don't, they're lying. So
right, if number one, you're a liar. Number two, well, why would you not play with yourself? God gave it to you. You might as well enjoy it before you're dead. So.
But
you only live once, people. Live it up.
But it's wild you were saying about that, you hadn't touched that system because, yeah, I got a ton of different systems, but I call this the collection room. Where I mainly play a lot of my video games, mainly like from Fortnite and wherever, is in another room where I had the PS4 Pro, the Xbox One,
right,
the Wii U, and the Switch. And a lot of times I play off my PS4 Pro, and I don't think I touched my Xbox One over a year because
it's.
I mean, here's the thing though. Xbox One has a great deal. They have a thing called Game Pass, and it's pretty much their version of Netflix. So.
Oh, cool.
Okay. Yeah, pretty much any Microsoft game that's first party is like almost automatically on there. So if you don't want to download
Now,
or
how much do you have to pay for that? Is that like a subscription service type
yeah,
thing, or what?
yeah, I don't remember how much it is. It could be like 20 something a month. I'm not sure because
Okay.
I had it for a little while and then I wasn't utilizing it and I was like, screw it. Why am I paying for this? So I got rid of it. But
Oh yeah.
and pretty much after that, I really hadn't touched my Xbox in a while. I mean, shit, I use my PS4 not only to play video games, I use that to watch wrestling, watch YouTube, and watch
Oh wow.
movies. I almost damn near use it as a make my TV a smart TV because
Jeez, yeah, that's crazy.
I mean, that's the good thing about these newer consoles. At least they have some like you can play Blu-rays, DVDs, and
Oh
use
yeah.
it. So they have other capabilities. So
Oh yeah. Oh, it's crazy what they can do. That like they're basically a computer in and of itself. I mean, just
oh,
in a different
definitely.
form in reality.
Well,
There's really not much difference anymore. It's
oh
crazy.
no. Uh, I'm probably gonna have to cut this off because my
Okay.
edit thing. But um, yeah. Because about an hour, that'd be it. I'm gonna edit this part out. But
Oh, gee.
or maybe I'll just leave it in. Who cares? But
Who gives a shit? We're just having fun, right?
yeah. But like, yeah, I can understand why you say that. I mean, dude, like I got PS3 in the living room as a Blu-ray player, pretty much, and
Yeah.
like actually I bought that when I moved here, but I was getting into it, then I just stopped, and I was like, you know what? I'll put that in the living room, so if my mom want to watch Blu-rays or DVDs or wherever, I can put it on the PS3. But
Right. Hell
I
yeah.
get, I guarantee you, if the PlayStation, even from one, didn't have the CD capabilities of playing a CD music disc,
Uh
and let's say they went to the PS2 and they didn't have DVD capabilities, I don't know if Sony would have made it with PlayStation because of that. I mean, because the PS2 was the cheapest DVD player back then in 2001. I don't know how much a PS2 cost back then. It's been
I couldn't tell you.
over
I
20
have
years
no
now.
idea.
So,
Oh yeah. Yeah. It's been freaking forever ago, you know what I mean? It was a fun system. It was a lot of fun. It I would love to go like it if there was ever a series of games I would love to go back and play all the way. It would be the Batman Arkham video games.
oh,
Like
really?
all three of them. I played Arkham Knight, the last one, and I beat it. But I never got to play the others. I always like I've seen all the gameplay footage and
Mm.
everything else. I think that's some of the best video games probably ever made. Just visually, how big the story is and everything else. But I would like, to kind of put a little bow on this episode. Like if there's one series that I could go back and redo the whole thing of, it would be those. Just because they're just so much fun to play. Just huge worlds. I love
Oh, I see what you're talking about. I played a few of them. They are fun. You know
it.
what's
Yeah.
funny? There's like I think there's a version like that. I know there's Batman. Nice. They have a place Batman version on the VR. And it's what it really is pretty much a like damn near a demo. Like you're paying. I don't think you pay too much. I think it's like $20, but you only play a couple missions, and you're pretty much almost playing it as the detective part of Batman. You're not like you're not like go boom boom boom
Yeah,
boom.
you're not beating everybody's ass.
Yeah. So I mean, VR is still being worked on, but
Oh, of course, yeah. Well, the technology's always growing. You know what I mean?
oh yeah. So like, but those Arkham games are good. I can't believe they stopped making them. So I mean, they're gonna make
They did
Batman games.
4, so yeah. Oh yeah. The same people that did the Arkham games, they recently made a Suicide Squad game that looks pretty interesting.
Oh yeah.
They released the trailer for it at a few months ago. I can't remember when it was, but I remember seeing it on YouTube. It was pretty cool. It like visually, it was in the same Arkham style, just updated. You know what I mean? It looked really good. So yeah, it wasn't bad. But as I said, I'm not a huge gamer. I the My biggest extent these days is watching gameplay footage on YouTube or something, or watching other YouTubers play. I've watched you play games on this YouTube channel, everything else. I get more enjoyment out of watching others do it. You know what I mean? So I don't know. I don't know. Sometimes my patience keeps me from playing them myself because I get frustrated. I'd just rather watch somebody else do it, I guess. It's all good,
I can
one way or
understand.
another.
I can understand that because a lot of times I watch my brother play a lot of games, and sometimes it is fun just to sit back and watch. And same thing, like you say, you
Right.
watch the stuff on YouTube and the commentary from a bunch of these YouTubers pretty much make the
Oh,
game.
yeah.
If it was just
Oh,
gameplay,
yeah.
a lot of times it's kind of boring if it's just the gameplay. But
Right.
the commentating makes it a lot of time. But
Oh, yeah.
you know what? I'm gonna go ahead and wrap up. I'm gonna go eat, and
Cool.
I
All
didn't
right.
eat when I told you. I was finish up in the tub, so I was like,
Oh, there you go.
yeah.
Well,
So
get go in there, grab your MRE, and you'll have you a good meal and eat them old Skittles and everything else. And for a snack, you can have a whole bunch of salad left over. I'm sure you got plenty of that crap, right? So,
dude, that salad had so much water in it that I swear, like I'm peeing clear, like it's like peeing water because it's just. I mean, that's not bad though. I mean, rather,
to say, I think you're supposed to do that.
yeah, I'm like, I'd rather see it more like that than yellow. But dude,
Right. Yeah.
I still don't understand why people. I mean, wants me to eat a whole head of lettuce when it's literally, I say it's the size of my head or bigger. Like, and you pull
Right.
one leaf, it's like you're barely pulling a dent out of this thing. Like,
Right.
and when I got done with the tomatoes, I'm like, I was, and the cucumbers, I was done. I couldn't take it because I was,
Oh,
like
yeah.
they said, I already ate. I should have ate sooner, but
There you go.
I was
I tell you what, I'll say this. I know you've went through hell with all these trials and challenges and everything else, but you are probably the one of the biggest draws of why people are even watching, because everybody wants to come see what Casey is doing this week. You know what I mean?
I,
So it's always fun to see the struggle either way. So it's all good.
I
So
appreciate that. It's fun, A lot of times I'm like, I don't mind doing them. Some of them are outrageous. Some people want me to do. It's like, oh god,
oh yeah,
like someone was suggesting. You know what? I think I was on Dave's show, and Latino Heat says, "Oh, why don't you dip your dick in honey and let ants eat it off?" You're like, well, or Or no, it was either that or would you do it for $1,000? I'm like thinking about it. I was like, nah, that would probably hurt. I mean, $1,000 would be awesome, but I don't know
Right.
what to do with bite marks on me like that. But
Yeah, there's definitely a limit. You know what I mean?
do you want to shout out anything before we take off?
Yeah. Follow me on Twitter at TX Horror Fest. I'm always on there posting something, and tune into Off the Reels over there with me and Drew, and check out our show. So
Fuck yeah.
that's about it. I appreciate a chance for coming on, and have a good time, hang out with my buddy here, and
Fuck
talk
yes.
about some cool stuff. You know what I mean? So
Fuck yeah.
it's all good.
That's why I figured to give you a holler because we always had a good time chatting. So I was like, hey, let's get together and do something. So
what the hell? Might as well, right?
Yeah.
It's all good.
Alrighty. I'll talk to you later, guys. See ya.
See you, man.